Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want to talk to your soul today. We live in a time where doubt is louder than destiny, where comparison drowns out calling, and where fear is preached louder than faith. But I came to shake the chains of insecurity, to break the silence of doubt, and to lift the voice of belief. Because somebody under the sound of my voice needs to hear this. Always believe in yourself. You have to stop letting your environment define your identity. You have to stop allowing your pain to become your personality. Just because you were raised in dysfunction doesn't mean you are dysfunctional. Just because you failed doesn't mean you're a failure. Just because you're broke right now doesn't mean you're broken. You are not what you're going through. You see, life has a way of slapping labels on you, based on what you've been through, based on what you don't have, based on what other people think you are. But I came to declare to you that your identity is not your circumstance. You are not your divorce. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your debt. You are not the mistakes you made in your past. You are not the abuse. You are not the opinion of others. You are not the product of your surroundings. You are the result of your Creator. When God created man, He didn't consult man's environment to determine his value. He didn't look at the dirt to define Adam's destiny. No, He breathed into him. He put His image, His spirit, His identity inside of man. Which means your true identity comes from the breath of God, not the breath of people. It comes from the Word of God, not the words of others. It comes from the truth, not from trauma, and that's what makes you powerful. Some of you have been shaped by struggle so long, you've started to confuse it with who you are. You've been in survival mode so long, you think you were born to barely make it. But hear me, your current condition is not your conclusion. You can be in a pit and still carry the dream. You can be in a storm and still be chosen. Joseph was in a prison, but he was still a prince. Ruth was in a foreign land, but she was still favored. Job was covered in boils, but he was still blameless. Jesus was in a tomb, but he was still the Son of God. The enemy wants you to believe that your identity is limited to what surrounds you, that if you don't have a degree, you're not smart, that if you don't have money, you're not valuable, that if you don't have a title, you have no power. But I came to tell you, you are not what they said. You are not what you lost. You are not what you lack. You are who God says you are. The reason many people lose themselves in life is because they confuse where they are with who they are. But if your identity is built on your circumstance, then every time life changes, you'll lose yourself. If you base your worth on your job, then when you lose the job, you lose your worth. If you build your value on who you're dating, then when they leave, you feel worthless. That's why the foundation of your identity must be eternal, not external. Let me educate you on something. Identity is not performance. It's not popularity. It's not possessions. It's purpose. Your identity is wrapped in your why, not your what. So stop trying to prove who you are by what you do. You're not valuable because you're busy. You're not significant because you're seen. You're valuable because you're called, because you were formed in the womb with intention, because God placed His hand on you before anyone knew your name. When you believe that your identity is beyond your current position, you walk differently. You endure differently. You speak with authority, not insecurity. Because you realize, this struggle may touch my life, but it will never steal my name. And when you know your identity, the enemy loses his power. He can attack your house, but he can't shake your home. He can attack your finances, but he can't bankrupt your faith. He can attack your reputation, but he can't steal your royalty. Why? Because your identity is anchored in heaven. You are more than your zip code, more than your resume, more than your bank account, more than your follower count, more than the pain that tried to bury you. You are a miracle in motion. You are an answer to a problem. You are a reflection of glory. And no weapon formed against that truth shall prosper. So I dare you to stop shrinking to fit into circumstances God meant for you to rise above. I dare you to stop dressing like your defeat and start walking like your destiny. You may be in a low place right now, but don't you dare adopt it as your identity. You may feel surrounded by darkness, but you are still the light. When people look at you, they might see the struggle. They might see the trauma. They might see the weakness. But when God looks at you, he sees the blueprint. He sees the purpose. He sees the anointing. He sees the victory already inside you. So stand tall. Fix your crown. Square your shoulders and tell your circumstance, you may be where I am, but you are not who I am, because your identity is not your circumstance. If you want to build something meaningful with your life, you can't start with money, connections, or applause. You've got to start with belief. Belief is not a bonus. Belief is the blueprint. Belief is not a luxury for the confident. It is a necessity for the called. Before the bricks are laid, before the foundation is poured, before the plans are drafted, there must be belief. You cannot become what you do not believe. You will never walk into a room you don't first see yourself in. You will never fight for a future you don't believe you deserve. You will never conquer a mountain you don't believe you were born to climb. Every architect knows. You don't build a house without a blueprint. Every structure standing around you began in the unseen. It started in the mind. It started in imagination. It started in belief. And if that's how buildings are built, why would your life be any different? What you believe about yourself becomes the silent instructions your soul follows. It governs how you talk. It guides how you walk. It shapes who you date, what jobs you apply for, what risks you take, and what dreams you chase. You can have talent and sabotage it with disbelief. You can have vision and abort it with self-doubt. You can be gifted, skilled, trained, and connected, and still fall short because you didn't believe you belonged in the room. There are so many people walking through life with greatness inside them, but fear surrounding them, and fear is not the absence of ability. It's the absence of belief. The most tragic prison isn't the one made of bars. It's the one built by your own thoughts. That quiet voice in your head that says, you're not good enough, you're not ready, you're too broken, you're too late. But I came to break that voice today. I came to evict that lie from your mind. Because belief isn't just a feeling, it's a force that repositions your posture, reprograms your decisions, and rebuilds your destiny. Do you know what separates the dreamer from the doer? Belief. What separates the one who talks from the one who builds? Belief. It's not that one had more resources. It's not that one had more time. It's that one had the courage to believe when the evidence didn't line up. They believed when the bank account said no. They believed when the people around them rolled their eyes. They believed when doors shut, when people walked away, when plans fell apart, because they knew something powerful. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need you to believe in you. Jesus said, according to your faith, be it unto you. Not according to your talent, not according to your background, not according to your comfort zone, but according to your belief. That means if you believe small, you live small. If you believe broken, you walk broken. But if you believe whole, you heal. If you believe free, you rise. If you believe chosen, you step into your assignment with fire in your eyes and confidence in your chest. Let me tell you, belief doesn't mean you never doubt. It means you doubt, but still decide. You hesitate, but still move. You get nervous, but still show up. You fall, but still get up. Because belief is not the absence of weakness. It is the presence of will. It is the decision to build anyway. To try again anyway, to trust again anyway, and don't you ever forget. God doesn't anoint who you pretend to be. He anoints the version of you who believes he can still use you, the broken version, the scared version. The doubting version, the version that says, I don't have all the answers, but I believe there's something more in me than what I've seen. Your belief is the soil where your future grows. It's the seedbed of progress, the birthplace of potential. Without it, You will forfeit promises that were meant to be yours, not because you weren't worthy, but because you didn't believe you could reach for them. You're not waiting on God as much as He's waiting on you to believe Him. To believe His word over your wounds, His plan over your pain, His truth over your trauma. To believe that what He put in you is stronger than what life put on you, that your story isn't over, that you're not too late, that you're not disqualified, that your past does not cancel your purpose. So today, I dare you to draw a new blueprint, a blueprint of faith, a blueprint of resilience, a blueprint that says, I was made for more. Because the moment you start believing that you were made for greater starts looking for you. The moment you believe your words matter, your voice grows louder. The moment you believe your presence matters, doors start opening. The moment you believe you're chosen, you start walking like it. So start with belief, end with belief, stand on belief, because belief isn't just the starting point, it's the strategy. And once you fix the blueprint, the building will follow. You're not just becoming something, you're building something, and belief is the first brick. Belief is powerful, it moves mountains, it opens doors, it stirs up vision, but belief has an enemy. And it doesn't come in the form of something outside of you. It comes in the form of a whisper inside your mind. That enemy is doubt. And doubt doesn't need to scream to destroy you. It just needs to echo. You see, most people don't lose their purpose because they lack potential. They lose it because they listen too long to the wrong voices. And I'm not just talking about external voices. I'm talking about internal echoes. Voices from the past that repeat themselves every time you try to step forward. Doubt doesn't speak in sentences. It echoes in patterns. It echoes in reminders of who hurt you, what you failed at, where you fell short. And if you don't learn to confront it, it will become louder than your calling. You were ready to launch the business, but the echo said, remember the last time you failed. You were about to speak up in the meeting, but the echo said, who are you to say anything? You were ready to heal, but the echo reminded you of the pain. You were ready to trust again, but the echo replayed your betrayal. And before long, you're not living in the moment. You're living in the memory. You're not walking by faith. You're trapped by fear. You're not stepping forward. You're circling back. Why? Because you've let the echo of doubt become the narrator of your life. Let me break this down for you. Doubt doesn't come from nowhere. It has roots. Doubt is often born from trauma, failure, rejection, or even silence. Maybe your father never affirmed you. Maybe your teacher told you you'd never amount to anything. Maybe you made a mistake and never forgave yourself. Now, years later, you're trying to build a future, but your foundation is still haunted by unhealed noise. And let me tell you something. The enemy doesn't need to attack you with new weapons if the old ones still work. If he can get you to replay the same lies over and over, he doesn't have to stop your progress. You'll stop yourself. You'll call it being realistic, but it's doubt. You'll call it waiting on God, but it's fear. You'll call it being cautious, but it's trauma. The echo of doubt is subtle, but it's deadly. It's like mold in a house. It grows in silence. It feeds on your passivity. It thrives when you don't challenge it. But I came to tell somebody that you can't silence what you won't confront. You can't overcome what you refuse to call out. You've got to open your mouth and speak back to the echo. When the echo says you're not enough, you declare, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. When it says you can't, you respond, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When it says nothing will change, you remind it, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. Because you can't fight thoughts with silence, you fight thoughts with truth. You don't overcome doubt by ignoring it. You overcome doubt by confronting it with faith-filled language. The power of life and death is in your tongue, and if the echo is trying to kill your dream, you better learn how to speak life into it. Let me teach you this. Doubt multiplies in isolation. That's why when you're most discouraged, the first thing you want to do is withdraw. But that isolation becomes the chamber where the echo gets louder. You've got to get around faith, filled people, people who remind you who you are, people who speak vision into your valley, people who don't rehearse your pain, but who reveal your power. Jesus himself experienced the echo of doubt in the wilderness. If you are the Son of God, those weren't just temptations, they were attacks on his identity. But how did Jesus respond? He said, "It is written." He fought back with the word. That's the model. When the enemy echoes lies, you echo back the truth. Some of you have dreams on hold, assignments abandoned, potential buried. Not because you lack capacity, but because you gave power to the echo. But today is the day you rise above it. Today is the day you stop agreeing with it. Because the echo of doubt may visit, but it doesn't get to stay. You're building a future too big to let doubt be your architect. You're carrying purpose too heavy to let fear be your counselor. You've got to evict every lie that says you can't, you won't, or you're not ready. God wouldn't have given you the vision if he didn't already see the victory. You've got to turn down the volume on the echo and turn up the voice of faith. Because when belief speaks louder than doubt, destiny begins to respond. So let the echo fade, let the doubt die, and let the sound of your belief rise up. You're not who your past says you are. You're not what fear says you can't do. You are who God called, equipped, anointed, and empowered to be. And no echo of doubt, no matter how loud, can silence the roar of someone who truly believes. Nothing in life can manifest in your hands until it first materializes in your heart. You cannot walk in what you refuse to believe. You cannot hold what your mind has rejected. You cannot receive what your spirit has not already accepted as possible. Because everything God wants to give you, he sends it through the channel of belief. Belief is the womb that births your blessings. And if the womb of your belief is closed, the seed of destiny will not take root. This is why some people pray and still live in defeat. It's why some people work hard and still feel empty. Because they are reaching with their hands for what they have not yet received in their heart. You can cry for it, beg for it, grind for it. But if you don't believe it belongs to you, it will pass you by every single time. Faith is the currency of the kingdom. And if you're trying to withdraw favor with the account of unbelief, you'll come up bankrupt every time. Let me tell you, God never created a blessing that belief can't unlock. And he never placed a door so high that faith can't open. But you can't walk in abundance when your mindset is still locked in lack. You can't live in healing if you've already married the identity of brokenness. You can't step into love while carrying the belief that you're unlovable. You can't receive promotion if deep down you believe you're undeserving. Belief is not some emotional state. It's a spiritual gateway. It's the posture that allows you to receive what God is trying to pour out. It's not enough for God to want it for you. You've got to want it for yourself. He can line up the opportunity. He can create the moment. He can surround you with favor. But if you reject it internally, you'll never receive it externally. This is the danger of a limited mindset. Some people are positioned for greatness, but trained to expect crumbs. And when they're offered more, they sabotage it, because it doesn't match the image they hold of themselves. You can put a crown on a man's head, but if he still thinks like a slave, he'll walk away from the throne. You can place a woman in a room full of opportunity, but if she still believes she's invisible, she'll shrink back and stay small. That's why the battlefield is in your mind. Before you win in life, you must win in belief. Before the blessing arrives in your life, it must live in your thoughts. The enemy knows this. He's not always trying to steal your stuff. He's after your belief, because if he can rob you of belief, he's already stolen your future. He knows you can't receive a new season while still believing old lies. So he keeps you tethered to fear, tied to insecurity, and anchored in unworthiness. Because as long as your hands are lifted, but your heart is closed, you'll keep missing what's meant for you. That's why Jesus often asked people a strange question before healing them. Do you believe? He didn't ask if they deserved it. He didn't ask if they prayed enough. He didn't ask if they were righteous. He asked one thing, Do you believe I can do this? Because belief makes room for the miracle. Belief creates capacity for the impossible. You can't receive healing if you've already accepted sickness as your identity. You can't receive peace if you've built your entire narrative around chaos. You can't receive love if you've taught yourself that love always ends in pain. You can't receive purpose if you don't believe you have one. What you believe shapes what you're ready to hold. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe. Some of you are praying for things that your mindset would reject the moment it arrives. That's why God isn't just preparing the blessing. He's preparing you. He's not just building the door. He's building your identity, your faith, your confidence, so that when the opportunity knocks, you don't run away from it. You open the door and say, I've been expecting you. I'm telling you today, stop blocking what God wants to give you because of broken belief systems. Stop disqualifying yourself from what you've already been called to walk in. You've got to rewire the way you think, reprogram the way you speak, and renew the way you see yourself. You've got to declare, I am worthy of what's coming, not because of your record, but because of His righteousness. Not because of perfection, but because of purpose. Not because you've earned it, but because you believe it. Your hands can't hold what your heart won't honor, and your future can't begin until your belief catches up to your calling. So start believing again. Believe you are enough. Believe you are chosen. Believe you can recover. Believe you can rise, because the promise has already been spoken. But belief is the only way to receive it. What God has for you is real. It's ready. It's waiting. But He's asking you today the same question He asked so many before. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give the world is not your success, it's your belief in yourself. Because when you truly believe in who you are, when you carry yourself like you are called, when you walk in rooms with a sense of purpose, you don't just shift your own life, you shift the atmosphere around you. People may not remember what you say, but they will remember how you stood. They will remember how you showed up. They will remember the weight of your presence, because presence is shaped by belief. You see, your belief in yourself isn't selfish, it's seed. It plants hope in people who are about to give up. It awakens something in the dreamer who is ready to settle. It calls the leader out of the shadow. It strengthens the timid heart. It opens a window in a soul that had been shut by shame. When you stand strong in your identity, others see what's possible for themselves. You don't need a microphone to lead. You don't need a title to be impactful. Just walking in self. Belief is a form of ministry. It's a sermon preached through posture. It's a message spoken through consistency. When someone watches you rise after failing, when they see you speak with confidence after being silenced, when they see you show up day after day despite being overlooked, that inspires them more than any motivational quote ever could. There are people watching you right now, not to see if you'll fail, but to see if it's possible. They're not looking for perfection. They're looking for evidence. Evidence that somebody who looks like them, comes from where they came from, carries wounds like theirs, can still rise, still lead, still matter. Your belief becomes the permission slip they didn't know they needed. And sometimes, all it takes is seeing one person believe to change the whole room. That's why your belief is not optional. It's essential. It's not just about your breakthrough. It's about everyone connected to your name, your voice, your assignment. There are people who won't start building until you start believing. People who won't step out until you stop holding back. People who won't heal until you decide to stop hiding your scars and walk boldly in your truth. Let me teach you this. Faith is contagious. It spreads. It catches fire. One spark of belief can ignite a whole generation. That's what happened with David. He didn't just kill Goliath. He awakened an army that had been paralyzed in fear. One young man's belief changed the posture of an entire nation. He didn't need approval to move. He didn't wait on validation. He simply believed God could use him, and that belief became a catalyst. And make no mistake, your belief will cost you. It will be misunderstood. People may call it arrogance. They may mock it. They may resent it. But that's only because your boldness confronts their comfort. Your movement stirs their mediocrity. Your faith reveals their fear. But don't shrink because others are uncomfortable. Don't apologize for walking like you're chosen. Don't dim your light because others haven't yet found theirs. You've got to keep standing even when you feel small. Keep speaking even when your voice trembles. Keep building even when the foundation feels unstable, because your consistency in belief builds trust in others. It says to the single mother, "You can do it." It says to the young man in the prison cell, "There's still purpose for you." It says to the one battling depression, "You are still valuable." You don't even know how many people are living off of the faith you've fought for. But let me also remind you, your belief doesn't have to come from perfection. It can come from pain. It can come from brokenness. In fact, that's when it shines the brightest. Belief that's born in the fire carries a glory that smooth roads could never produce. When people see that you believed after the betrayal, after the bankruptcy, after the breakdown, they won't just admire you. They'll be inspired by you, because now your belief carries credibility. Now it carries evidence. Now it carries power, so don't you dare let the enemy talk you out of your confidence. Don't let the past talk you out of your posture. You're not just living for yourself. You're living for the ones coming after you. For the children who will model their mindset after yours. For the friends who will find courage in your comeback. For the stranger who will overhear your words and feel like maybe, just maybe, they are not too far gone. When you believe in yourself, you break chains, you interrupt cycles, you rewrite narratives, you show the world what grace looks like in motion. You become walking proof that God still calls ordinary people for extraordinary purposes. So go ahead and stand tall, speak boldly, walk freely, move intentionally, because your faith in yourself, rooted in the knowledge of who God created you to be, is not just for you, it's for the weary. It's for the watchers, it's for the next generation, and every time you show up, you are shouting to the world. Let me close by telling you this, my brothers and sisters, believing in yourself is not vanity, it is vision. It's not pride, it's purpose. Because when you believe in yourself, you align your mind with what God already knew about you before you ever took your first breath. You're not just agreeing with your potential, you're agreeing with heaven. Your identity is not your circumstance. Where you started is not where you have to stay. Your failures don't cancel your future. Your past does not determine your promise. Your belief is the blueprint. You can't build what you don't first design in the mind. Your thoughts shape your tomorrow. If you believe in lack, you'll settle. But if you believe you're called, you'll rise. But beware, the echo of doubt will come. It will whisper, it will repeat, it will haunt. But that echo is not your truth. It's not your voice. You don't have to answer every whisper that tries to call you by your wounds. And remember this truth. You cannot receive what you don't first believe. God can have the blessing with your name on it, but if your spirit won't accept it, your life can't contain it. Raise your level of belief to match the size of your destiny. Because when you believe in yourself truly and deeply, you do something divine. You set others free. You break generational fear. You awaken sleeping giants. You inspire silent warriors. Your life becomes a living sermon. Your walk becomes a word. Your presence becomes permission for others to rise. So today, I charge you to walk boldly, to speak confidently, to move with purpose. Don't wait for the world to believe in you. You believe in you because God already does. Now go forth, not just with knowledge, but with fire, with belief, with boldness, and remember, always believe in yourself, because the world needs what's inside you, and heaven already approved it. Amen.